Hey, look at that. Another Thursday. How's it going? As always, Nate Mumford, Director of Sales Engineering, hanging out with you today for another installment of RCS Live. Today, we're talking about Revma, our content delivery network. Got some screenshots to show you as well. As you know, I'd get some housekeeping out of the way first. I was just spending the week in our new state-of-the-art facility, which is so cool. We can't wait to show you that. We are back on the road as well, starting with NAB. That's right. To have our new booth, W6422 will be there. It sounds like a lot of people are going to be there this year. We'd love to meet you, say hi with our vast array of hand sanitizer. And we can't wait to talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's been a while, right? I can talk about Zeta, RCS Cloud. You're looking at here, G-Selector, Acquira. We have all of our to-go products as well. We'll be there at NAB the 23rd, the 27th. It's right around the corner, actually, right around the corner. Some other events we have coming up, just so you know, there very quickly. We got Momentum, some WAB, Broadcast Asia, and some more of those as well. That's the current list, but we have more coming down the pipeline as well. But we cannot wait to see you at NAB. Already a lot of meetings. I'll be there just talking wherever you want to talk about. That's the idea. Let's see here. We are hiring here at RCS. Got some rare positions opening right now. If you want to check that out, it's on our career page, rcsworks.com. You can see there. I think it's about us. I think there's careers in there. Feature Friday. We'll be featured as one of our great clients, and we'll do that on Feature Friday every Friday. Don't forget to check your backups, your data exchanges. Always looking for beta users for G-Selector 5.0, Zeta 521.2, Acquira 321.2, whatever product you use. We're always looking for beta users as well. And again, we talk about RCS. We talk about true integration, right? We're talking about from Zeta, having your playing your station, G-Selector, scheduling the music log, Acquira, scheduling your traffic log. And then today, we're going to talk about Revma, our content delivery network that has a global footprint, with edge servers all across the world. And I thought for today, because when we talk about essentially content delivery network and streaming, what we're really talking about is streaming numbers, right? I could kind of show you the initial portal and stuff like that, but I thought instead, let's talk about what you really care for, right? And that's going to be the reports in the analytics. That's what we're showcasing today. So couple things in regards to Revma. Bit rates. A lot of times users ask us, what kind of bit rates do we do? And really the answer there is going to be whatever you're doing, right? So we take your encoder and we duplicate that across the board, right? And by the way, I should mention my chat is open here. I know we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter Live. I see you, Matt, and I can't tell if that's an appropriate emoji or not. So I'm just going to pretend that I acknowledge you. Thank you, Matt, for checking in. Any questions for streaming, let us know. And yes, by the way, it's opening day here. So I'm sporting my Mets jersey because I had to, right? I have to. So back to Revma, bit rates. We take whatever your encoder is and we can duplicate that across the board. We can also split it in what we call relays. So it really is about the device, right? That's the idea here. And so if you want to have, let's say, a 192, great. We'll do that for your app. If you want 128, if you want both, if you want, let's say, a 96, or if you want a small one for your office hold music, we have those two. We can split that. It's hype. Awesome. Okay, thank you, Matt. I couldn't tell. There, I got to give Matt some proper heads up. Thank you. I couldn't tell. It looks like wolves on fire or something, but I appreciate the hype, Matt. Really do. Any questions, let me know. So listen, so when we talk about, the whole process of the air chain, just in case you're unfamiliar, we take your Zeta, we take your encoder, then we send that to your Revma. It's all connected, and then we stream. We have that URL in there as well. And I should point that this is also, there's some great enhancements with Revma in regards to RCS Cloud Disaster Recovery. We have some built-in conference app. That's a virtual studio for your morning shows. There's other great resources there too. So when we talk about true integration, we really mean it. As a one-stop shop for RCS, you really are going from start to finish in that air chain. So let's really talk about the goods here. I thought we would jump right in. Obviously, I can't show you live real-time data because I don't want to show any of our clients' information. So what I did here is I took some screenshots of one of our clients. that has some really, really good analytics. And I kind of just block some stuff out, showcase some stuff in here too. So let's break down some of these reports that we have inside of Revma. And again, notice the extensive breakdown of these numbers, because we talk about streaming, that's what we're caring about, right? Those reports and those analytics. So this is just my streaming portion of the Revma portal. You'd have your own typical username and password in there with your stations associated with it. So you can see this is a very, very healthy, this is this month's listening for this user. We break this down into total sessions completed, total unique IPs, average listening minutes, total listening hours, and total gigabytes used, which is important for your bandwidth, obviously. And just in case you're unfamiliar, the difference between sessions and unique IPs. If Nate is a diehard listener and I listen, let's say 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, that session could have, 20 hours, 7 days a week, but the unique IPs is 1, right? So Nate listens a lot versus, let's say, 10 Nates listening to, 10 minutes at a time, right? Seeing how long your listens are doing, how long they're returning, listen to your streams as well. And of course, listening minutes is in there, listening hours, and gigs used. We got a lot of graphs for you. All these can be exported as PNGs as well, so you can see total sessions versus total ad impressions that are there. Again, some great stuff. We'll keep on clicking on here. Average listening minutes per session. Same thing. We looked at those titles, little title headers there. We're just breaking these down into graphs here so you can see. And if you want me to elaborate more, I can. But I think for just time purposes, you can see here, again, average listening minutes per session, gigs used. This is a month report, which is important to note. I think so far we just have the month of April, so not a lot of data here. But notice how you can track this for the overall month if you wanted to. So, or you can do a custom date range. That's in there too. So if you did want to see days of the week, that comes into play. I know I did that a lot. Typical radio, Thursday, see how much of a spike I get versus Mondays and Fridays. We also introduced, by the way, device statistics. This is very, very important, as you can see with the Alexa and all of that. So you have Sonos in there, Android, iPhone, desktop, iPad, iPod, mobile, or Chrome OS in there too. So again, some really important device statistics to see how your listeners are really viewing your or listening to your station, right? And I should note, these can be broken down into stations, so station analytics, or a group analytics, which is important to note. So if you're an administrator and you want to kind of show me like how I'm doing as a corporation right now, all of my stations, you can see the breakdown. And if you love numbers as much as I do, you can see there. Obviously, if you have a certain station, like a hip hop format, might have different streaming numbers and devices than you would, let's say, a classic hits or an AC at workstation, right? Seeing how those break down. When you look at these device statistics, it's really important because when you look at that, it's showing you a snapshot of outside of the car. How is your audience receiving, your station? And you can go do imaging and tie that to there as well, which is always really, really important, right? Again, I got my chat open here. If you have any questions, let me know. We're talking about Revma, our content delivery network, showcasing all the extensive reports that we have inside of Revma. Regional statistics, as I said, we have a global footprint, which edge servers all across the world. And so you can see here, we break it down by country. From there too, by the way, I should kind of note that if I can expand that country, it will then give me city on top of that, just so you know. So when I take that country and I expand it, I can see the city in there. It's always funny to see international numbers because all of a sudden you're like, wow, my little station in Connecticut was big in Ireland. Who would have known? So that's always great to see as well. So you can see, again, sessions, unique IPs, total listening hours, and percentages there. That's in there too. Again, percentages is based on the country, just so you know. Daily statistics. So you can see, again, breakdown of the single day. Again, I looked at a monthly report, which then shows my day-to-day breakdowns, sessions, unique IPs, gigs, listening hours, sessions started, sessions completed, and ads impressions. That's all broken down by the day, right? Checking the thing here. Right, Benedict? Makes sense? Right, Matt? Awesome. So let's see here. From there, let's move on to the ad portion of Revma. We work with vast protocols, so we really are agnostic when it comes to some of those, spot loads, right? Whatever you want to do, we'll work with you. If you work with Triton, great. We'll work with you with them. If it's something else, awesome. We'll do that too as well. But it's important to note that we also track our ads here. So you can see based on the ads portion, these are pre-rolls or vast interruptions inside the content. We have total requests, total impressions, ads started. Now, notice how extensive this is. We have the first quarter, halfway, third quarter, or total ads completed, right? That all comes into play in regards to streaming because you can have somebody start something and leave and come back or whatever it may be. So we break that down based on the first quarter, midpoint, third quarter, and total ads completed, right? Obviously, you'll see a little bit of a drop off for total versus first quarter, but you should see not that significant amount of a drop. If you do, again, these are numbers. It's telling you that, hey, either you have too long of a pre-roll or the listener is just not, actively paying attention to your stream, right? That's what it has there. Again, we can export these as PNGs outside, or we can just access. Bleh. You know what I mean. You can see them live in real time there too. So what we can do here is we can then have a breakdown of the ads started, ads reached, midpoint. Again, more graphs for you if you're a graph person or a numbers person. I love this average statistics impressions breakdown as well. You can kind of see what is looking at in your graph. In this particular one, you can see we have 100% to 82. Retention rate's actually not that bad when you look at it. You look at 82 versus 76. That's a pretty, I think, decent number in my opinion, but that's just me. Sometimes you have significant drop in those numbers there, but you can see people are listening for longer on the station. So they're listening to the entire stream there. Going back to the regional statistics, again, we have the country breakdowns. If you do click on that country live in real time, it will break it down by the city inside that country, and you can see a further breakdown of all those numbers from the city. Again, number of impressions, sessions, percentages, those are in there as well. And and finally, the daily device statistics in there, again, broken down by the day based on the ad structure. Now, obviously, we know we need more and more reports. These are the numbers, streaming listeners, ads of impressions. And now we're going to morph into the kind of track world. So you can see this is more of the overall portal we have. On the left-hand side of your dashboard, the analytics is right there. The stream URLs, profile, session rules, settings, and events. And if you go to our analytics, that's broken down by streaming. That's the first thing I showed you. The ads, and then the track reports, and the monthly track. So you can see here, I just did a quick little yesterday search. These were the top tracks, time started, time ended, the duration there. You can search by name or by artist or by time. There's a lengthy period. There's also a custom period in there as well. So very extensive track listing in here, right? That's our track reports. Followed by our monthly track. So for April so far, these are the tracks I have in for April with the title, artist, and number of performances by that particular artist. That's in here. Also important to note on the bottom left too, at the base of your Revma portal, we do have your on air showing you the status of your stream, the now playing of your stream, and also the play button to preview your stream, which is really important to note as well. So again, if you're looking at the overall dashboard of kind of where it is, you can see the current number of listeners and number of countries they're listening in. You can also see on the top right over here, the listeners here, right? This is going to be essentially, what time of day you have a peak listenership. So obviously, not really surprising here. Midnight to 6 a.m., pretty low, but look at that jump. And this is telling me, again, looking at numbers, you can tell just from today, that 8 a.m. hour, boom, look at that. That is your spike at 8 a.m. And you slowly trickle down from there. Again, kudos to this station. They have a pretty good retention rate here. I mean, look at those midday numbers, right? After the spike at 8 a.m., I mean, they're like, boom, pretty consistent across the board. So nice work. And then, of course, you can tell we really going to drop off as typically we do between 7 and 8 o'clock at night, right? Again, this is all to help you look at how your listeners are streaming your content. That's the idea here, right? Finally, a couple things too. This is a really cool window. I had to block out some information here because I'm not going to go and share a client's information, but I wanted to show you the monitoring portal here. If you're an administrator, you can take a look at all of a snapshot of all of your stations what kind of mode they're in, primary failover. We do offer actually free failover in Revma. So if you have a primary encoder, get a free secondary encoder. We'll link the two together. Now you got a failover. Primary goes down, we'll automatically switch over to the failover for you so you don't lose those listeners, right? Then, of course, the primary relay there, the relay is the smaller bit rate. That's what that means in translation to Revma speak. So primary is the main encoder feed. Relay is probably a different bit rate. So maybe a 320, then a 192, then a 128, and all of that good stuff. You're following me, right? So what we're looking at here is the monitor. This is the status of all of my stations. Are we online? Are we connected? You can see here the connected stations, the current total listeners. We have the streaming clusters, the gateways in there. On the bottom right-hand side, we also have the stations with their streams attached to it. Again, just overall looking at a snapshot, making sure everything looks great. If you're an engineer, you might have this monitor screen up on your side wall or something, just making sure that all of these streams are up and running and healthy, and you can see current numbers as well too, as an overall administrative perspective. That's a really cool feature I like to showcase here because you can see, of course, a lot of information live in real time. Big spike for a reason. Oh, hey, we got 27 listeners today, but you know what? Typically we have like 45. That's odd. That might trigger you to say, well, what's on the air right now? What's changing? What's different? Or the opposite. You have all of a sudden a spike in listenership for your middays. You know, that's a very powerful, at work stream. Especially these days with apps, you might have multiple formats in your stream. And so you might have, a 80s, 2000s, 90s, classic rock, modern rock, whatever it may be. And what you can do there is you can see exactly what's trending on certain days. So if you're looking at this and looking at, hey, my classic rock always seems a really big bump from 10 to 3. Guess what? That's probably your primary day part from your listening habits. So as you can see from an administrative perspective, a lot of information here in this window. I love to showcase that as well. In regards to content providers, as I said, we're agnostic in regards to what we're going to show here. And so we can do AsWiz, we can do Triton, any VAST protocols on there. Again, I had to block out some stuff. This is just showing you essentially their delivery engine, and you can see that they're tied to certain things. Yes, we're good to go. That's great. I should kind of very politely tease. We do also have podcasts here as well with Revma. That's really cool. That's essentially you have an RSS feed. You tie that to wherever your podcast provider is. Once that connection's established, you can upload your podcast through Revma. And then when we have that already pre-established RSS feed, we just update that again for you, which is really, really cool. Again, going back to the rules, we also have some very advanced geo-targeting and session rules for either like VAST protocols, pre-rolls, stuff like that. So you can see here, there's a bunch of quick little rules here I want to show you. Rules, action, content providers, the stream groups. So if you have certain stations, get certain, VAST protocols, others don't, or you have some geo groups, geo areas, IP groups as well. Just be aware, those, of course, cater to whatever the user's doing. If they have a masked VPN, they have a masked VPN. It's the nature of the beast, right? So just be aware that's one of those little gotchas in there. But other than that, we got geo groups, geo areas, and IP groups in there as well, right? Questions, comments, all that good stuff. I love it, right? I'll give you about 30 seconds here just so you know. I'm going to close this right now. I don't need that in there. But again, we talk about Revma, right? Our content delivery network, a lot of great stuff in there for you. So if you have any questions in regards to streaming solutions, we're always here to help as well. And again, we talk about true integration, one-stop shopping. We're talking about with RCS getting from point A, which is, of course, the music log, and G Selector, acquire a traffic log, or your billing, or your scheduling, and then to Zeta for your on-air, and then Revma for your content delivery network, and of course, RCS Cloud. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of features are tied into RCS Cloud and Revma as well, right? Sounds good? You motivated? That's the idea. So listen, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, as always, for an RCS Live. I'm Nate. Have a good